One.
Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your official English source for Olympiacos FC Greek Super League football. I'm here with Costa Levoyanis, my co-host, and Yannick from the PSV Podcast, and we're hoping to get into some PSV. How would I say it correctly? I've been saying
Officially,
PSV.
it's PSV. The Dutchies say
Yeah,
PSV, but everyone else saying
yeah.
PSV. So I
I, I've
understand what
been
you're
I've been
talking about.
saying PSV, so I feel good about myself there. So
That's
we're
great.
gonna.
That's great.
So I'll just ask straight away. How are you doing, Yannick? It's good to speak with you.
Good. Thanks. Yeah. Looking forward to the game, of course, and nice to talk to you in the podcast. Thanks for having me. Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, and so before we get into the game, I have some housekeeping things and some news to go over. First, on the housekeeping, we haven't had a ton of special guest announcements recently, and that's because we've been working on some players behind the scenes. We really don't want to start the guessing games just yet of who it could be, but it looks like we may be having a very special guest to announce real soon. So, guys, keep your eyes out on social media. We may be dropping some clues as we always do for the players. You guys love guessing. You guys love getting the first question in if you get it right. So we'll be doing that again soon. And second, thank you again to our sponsor, Piraeus International. Piraeus International has been importing and exporting cargo for companies and individuals for over 40 years. They can assist you in importing olive oil, marble, or any other goodies from Greece. They can also assist in exporting whether you have one box or a full household of items that need to be sent over. Check them out at www.piraeusinternational, like the port in Greece, and give them a call at 410-675-4696. For the first time doing that. That went pretty well for me. Anyway, on to the news, guys. Kostas Jimikaz was awarded Greek Footballer of the Year. A bunch of our players were also in the Dream 11, with Youssef El Arabi getting the Golden Boot and Pedro Martins winning Coach of the Year. Other than that, I think the only thing really is news about the game. If we want to get into it, actually, I kind of wanted to ask you, Yannick, first about your guys' podcast and just tell us about what you do and PSV, your love for the football team there.
Yeah, we started as a bunch of friends who wanted to talk about PSV. We do the commentary at the local radio station at every game. So we decided to start a podcast. That was 4 years ago. We did it once or twice a week, and in the transfer windows we did it daily. So we had a lot of news that was great. And now we are more like a background podcast. We do a lot of interviews, but we want to save the podcast for a little more time, because after a match the podcast is old already. So yeah, we have less episodes, but yeah, we kind of like it. So it's our 4th season now.
That's super cool. And yeah, PSV is a great club, and you guys play really exciting football. So I guess we can talk about the football you guys have been playing this season from a Greek perspective. We've seen a little bit of you guys. I don't know if you remember, but you guys played PAOK twice, of
Oh
course, and they
yeah,
were two really good games.
we
Actually, the
do.
first one was when half of you guys were out with coronavirus travel restrictions, and then that second game, I think PAOK opened the score, and their fans were going crazy on the social media, and then their hearts were broken like usual as PAOK fans. So just give us some background about PSV this season, how you guys are playing, and I guess how it relates to some former seasons, how you would
Yeah, from
say.
our point of perspective, it was a different group in the Europa League, and we thought we were out at the game against PAOK, because yeah, we lost it the first one, and then the second one we thought, okay, this is it. This is the end of the season for us. And to talk about the season, we have a new coach, Roger Schmid from Germany. He's very ambitious. He wants to put something new in Eindhoven, and he's trying to do that. But as you were mentioning, the coronavirus makes it difficult. So he has to rotate a lot of players, and yeah, it's not that successful. We were knocked out in the cup last week. the competition, we are behind by a lot of points. So for us, the Europa League is the main thing now, and that's what makes the game so important for us.
Did you sack your manager, the one that you started with at the beginning of the season? Has Schmidt been with you since the beginning of the season?
Yeah. He was appointed last year in March. We had Mark van Bommel, who was a club legend, and he was appointed manager 3 years ago. He started really, really well, and then it didn't go well, so he was sacked, and the club decided to put all the things all around to do something completely different, and that's why they appointed Roger Schmidt by the time. Yeah.
Roger Schmidt was the Red Bull manager. Was he at Salzburg? He was
Salzburg, yeah. And then he went to Leverkusen. He did quite well there. And then went to China to get a lot of money, and that's what made it possible for us to sign him. Because he doesn't do it for the money. He wants to develop himself as a coach and probably go to a big league after this. So he signed for 2 years, and I think he wants or he has his big plans for next season. That's what has to bring it all together. So this year he wants to build it up, and next season hopefully he will do what he wants to do. Yeah.
So that leads me to ask, what type of football are you guys playing currently? My quick read of Dutch football is that there's 2 central defensive midfielders, and that is something that's made fans really upset. Can you kind of describe the formation and how PSV typically plays?
Yeah. The idea of Roger Schmidt is high intensity football. He wants a lot of pressure high up the field, and he plays with 4 defenders, 2 wing backs who are almost like attackers, Dumfries and Max, really important for the game of PSV, 2 center backs, and then 2 defensive midfielders, Sangare and Rosario normally. And they don't have a lot of creativity. They can win balls, and that's their main goal. And then they have to pass it to one player of the same color, and that's what they are not that good about. Then we have 2 attacking midfielders or attackers. They play in the center to give Dumfries and Max the time to go around them. And then we have 2 players up front. And I think up front, that's where our qualities are. We have a lot of good strikers, attackers, and in the defense, it can be better. Yeah.
I have to say, I didn't watch the PAOK games. All I know is that they were high-scoring games, and I haven't watched any PSV games this season. But from some analysis and what I've been hearing on radio, and I know that the guy spoke with a Dutch journalist on a podcast a couple of episodes ago. I have the impression that these 2 games could be high-scoring games. Just listening to the description of the team playing this kind of 4-2-2-2 formation, and having really attacking fullbacks that could leave spaces open for the transition. I think that's how the goals were scored in the PAOK game. Actually, I think you guys went ahead, and then they scored 4 goals in 20 minutes in the second half, which was crazy. But also, I should say that from our sides, we have a bit of a shaking up of the defense at the moment. One of our 3 defenders, top 3 defenders, was loaned out to Saint Etienne, and Socrates Papastathopoulos was bought in from Arsenal. So he's high stature Greek player that's played abroad for about 15 years, decided to come back to Greece now. He hasn't played for over 6 months, and we don't have Ruben Semedo, our number 1 centre-back, playing. We have a new recruit at right back that's probably starting. So we have 2 players at the back, actually three players at the back that just joined in January. So looking at the PSV strike force as well in Zahavi, and what I've been hearing about the other young chap, Marlon, if I'm not mistaken.
He's incredible, yeah.
Yeah, I think it could be a high-scoring game. It could be very good for the neutral. That's my impression going into the game. And maybe another thing I'm hearing from what you were saying and the different analysis on PSV liking to press very high up the pitch. We're missing Jan Villa going into this game. He's our number 1 defensive midfielder. He likes to bring the ball out of defense, and I think for me he's one of our best players, if not our best player. He looks set to miss the game. That means we'll probably have Bouchalakis playing at the 6. He's a good player, but if he's pressed, he gets into problems. So that's going to be interesting.
So you play with 1 6 and 2 attacking midfielders, like 4-3-3, or
it changes. In Europe, we've played a lot 4-3-3. In the Champions League, because we were normally playing against sides that were better than us. We only employed, on paper, better than us. I should add. We played 4-2-3-1 once in the Champions League, and we beat Marseille in our first game. That was the only game that we won in our group. But generally in Greece, we do play the 4-2-3-1. We like to attack from the wings. We like to have, attacking fullbacks that stretch the field, and then 2 wingers that are more inside forwards, and a number 10 who is Greece's best player, which is Kostas Fortounis, who will probably start on Thursday against PSV. But yeah, this is a question to debate whether we will start 4-2-3-1 or 4-3-3 on Thursday, because we don't have the players for the 4-3-3. With Mvia missing, that would mean we have to move Androutsos, who is a player we've been playing at right back, into centre midfield. So I think it will probably be a 4-2-3-1 with us, and 1 6 and an 8 and a 10 in the midfield.
Yeah, a lot of question marks in your starting 11. And for us as well, because we have Mario Götze, as you know. He is our big star, but he has a lot of injuries. I think he is back now, but we are not sure if he's starting Thursday. And our other attacking midfielder, Cody Gakpo, also a really good player, is also injured. I hope he's coming back on Thursday. But those are the 2 big question marks for PSV. So it depends on them if we are good or really good, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really interesting. But the front 2 seems so deadly from what we've seen, and that just seems like the danger area, because they get 1 or 2 chances and you take the away goal, and we're in trouble right away, it feels like. And another side I wanted to point out, and maybe you can explain more, the 2 fullbacks, because from what I understand and from what we've heard earlier, is they are 2 of the key parts. Of course, Dumfries is the captain of PSV and is a regular in the Dutch national team, and then Max, I think you just signed as well.
Last summer.
And I feel like PSV has always had a decent left-sided fullback. Angelino, I remember, had so many assists for them a few seasons ago. And just talk about the fullbacks maybe for us.
Yeah, after Angelino, we were struggling. So it was the main goal for our technical manager to get a left wing back. And he got Max, and Max played himself into the Germany national squad. So he's doing really well. And as you mentioned, Dumfries, our captain, I think he's going to play for the Netherlands this summer at the European Championships for sure. So yeah, those are 2 really, really important players, especially for their capability to do long runs, to pass the ball, and their weakness, of course, is their defensive skills. They improved a lot, especially Dumfries. But yeah, there are opportunities for the other teams to do something with all the space they leave. So that's interesting to see next Thursday. Yeah.
So that's so interesting, because I think this is the perfect segue to bring up Bruma, who is now on loan at Olympiacos from PSV.
Yeah.
He is gonna play, it sounds like, and
is he? Because he was injured.
Yeah, he was injured, but he's such a hot and cold player. Like, he goes 4 games, and it's like, okay, this guy's picking up form, and then there's like a little hamstring niggly injury, and he's out for 2 weeks, and he has to restart almost. So he's at the restart point, but it sounds like he is gonna play. He did not play against Panathinaikos. He wasn't even on the squad list, but the reports in Greece say that he is gonna play. So
I don't know. You really like Bruma, don't you? Because I heard great stories about him performing well in Greece, and yeah.
So we have a buyout option, I think, of 6.5 million, but I don't think there's any way the club pays 6.5 million for Bruma. Like, if he showed maybe a bit more, maybe 6.5 million is pushing it for Olympiacos. Or we like to bring our wingers in from God knows where and bring them in and develop them. I think the only time we paid real money was Podence, but we thought we were getting him for free. So Costa, what do you think about this? I could see us trying to negotiate in the summer, but I don't know how open PSV is to make such a big loss after they signed him for so much money, because it would probably be from our side 3 million. I would say 3 to 4 million would be max we would pay for him.
I think we've talked about this on the podcast a few times already, you know, asking the question, would you pay 6.5 million for Bruma based on the performances that we've seen? And I think we're all unanimous that the answer is probably no. Notwithstanding, like, I think he's a very good player. He has a lot of defining qualities, like his pace, his ability to run into space, and even, you know, one-touch football. I think he has a good football IQ. I mean, he's played in the Netherlands and he's played in a lot of different countries. So no doubt he's a good player, but for us, 6.5 million is a lot of money. Daniel Podence, actually, it took over a year and a half for us to actually pay anything for him, because we were lucky in that we have good relations with Jorge Mendes, Ronaldo's agent, who has Podence as his client. He brought him to us when there was an incident at Sporting Lisbon, and then we only paid money for him to avoid a court dispute with Sporting. And then a few months after we paid money, we made a 15 million euro profit. So we're quite nifty with, you know, when it comes to making those kinds of business on players. But I think Bruma, he had a poor start to his career at Olympiacos. He came and he got injured immediately, and he missed big parts of the Champions League campaign. He only played in a Man City game. I remember him coming on in the second half, but really there was nothing to remember from him in the Champions League, nothing at all. And then he got past his injury. He had 3, 4, 5 consecutive games. You could see the rhythm returning, and you could see the ability and everything that he's become known for over the years. And then a week ago, he played in the league game, and he complained about muscle injury in I think in the groin. So he got taken off, and I think they've been managing him for this game. I think they've been saying, okay, you're not going to play, we're getting you ready for the PSV game. So I'm hoping that he hasn't lost a lot of rhythm, because again, from what I've heard of PSV, there are going to be a lot of spaces in behind for him to run into. And
it's our big nightmare that he performs well for you guys in the games against us. Yeah, because he really he didn't perform well. He really underperformed in his time at PSV. We signed him for like more than 10 millions, and yeah, we were expecting a lot of him, and he didn't score goals. He didn't give assists. So yeah,
Is he getting injured a lot there as well? Like he's quite injury prone, would you say?
No, he got subbed off, and then he got on the bench. So yeah, it didn't go well for him. So I was happy that he found a club where he could restart his career. And I don't think that any club is going to pay like $7 or $8 million or euros for him now. So yeah, I can see who would be doing that now. So
there have been some reports that we are trying to renegotiate for the extension of his loan. I think that sounds logical to me. That's what the club will probably do. Again, I doubt very much we'll pay the buyout. If he performs wonders in the 2 games against PSV, and he leads us to a qualification and is great for the rest of the season, even then I think they'll try and reduce the price. They'll try and say, okay, 6.5, yeah, what about 3, 4? But we'll see. We're expecting a lot of things from him on Thursday and in the game next week for sure.
Yeah, I honestly, it's just I think he could do it on Thursday, but the thing is, it's just he's a player that sometimes you see him play and you're just like, okay, this guy has got it, and then other times he just disappears, and it's like, God, man, what's going on here? Like we have had our share of mediocre wingers, and when you watch Bruma play, you can say, okay, he's not one of these mediocre wingers. The listeners know who I'm talking about. We don't need to go into all of that, but I honestly think there's some room for him here, and if he plays together with Matthew Valbuena, maybe at a 10 or Fortunis at a 10, and we have Yorgos Masouras probably on the other side, he's given a bit more room, a bit more width. I could see him doing something, but it's difficult to even imagine because Costa can correct me if I'm wrong, but he hasn't done anything in a derby, I believe. Even he didn't do anything in Europe earlier this season, but I don't think has he scored in a derby or an assisted in a derby? I can't remember right now. I'm putting you on the spot.
Bruma,
yeah.
I think he was decent against PAOK in the 3-0 game. I think.
Okay, it's just slipping me, but
he hit the post.
Yes.
Yeah. He was in.
He was decent against PAOK. Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah. But we're gonna have to see. I think it's really There's the storyline is there, right? I guess the motivation is there. Is he gonna do it? I just don't know. I guess one of the more interesting storylines too from our side is who is going to play at right back for us. Of course, we signed Kenny Lala. I won't say La La La. I've been known to add a La La to the end. But Kenny Lala has been signed, and there's rumors and reports that he is going to be the starter, which has led to more rumors that our current right back who played against Panathinaikos, Thanasis Androutsos, will be moved to the midfield. So I don't know, after the game against Aris, which Lala played, I didn't think he was ready to play in this game. And I think the scenario where PSV could go after Olympiacos, because I don't know what we're going to see from Lala. I don't know. Costa, what do you think?
I really don't know what we can expect from him, because I don't want to say his performance was lackluster when he played against Aris in the cup, but he's just a player that's just landed a few weeks ago, literally deadline day signing, and you can't expect him in 16 days to be integrated into the team. And knowing how important the wing-back play is for Olympiacos, I don't know what we can really expect of him. But at least defensively, in the game that he did play, he made some good interceptions, and he was fairly steady. But I don't know. It is what it is, and I think at the end of the day, it will probably be him starting, because Androutsos has frailties defensively, and maybe Martins does want to shore up the defense. But if we want to attack, I think Androutsos could retain a spot. But again, from everything I'm hearing, the wing play of PSV is going to need some good defensive tactics and wing backs that know how to defend, how to position themselves. So I think that might give him the edge over Andrutos. And I don't expect Andrutos to play in midfield either. I think that would be a massive surprise for me if we start with Andrutos in midfield. I think it's going to be Bouchalakis Kamara, like it was in previous European campaigns. They know each other very well, and they've had Fortounis play in front of them. So I think for me that's the safest option, to have those three in midfield: Kamara, Bouchalakis, and Fortounis.
And I guess this is a question now for Yannick. Who were the two attacking midfielders who do you think PSV will utilize in this game? I know, actually, an interesting connection. I think one of the guys named Ryan Thomas from New Zealand. My sister's boyfriend is actually a reporter, a New Zealand football reporter, and he's interviewed him, actually. So that's the only reason I know of him. But anyway, so is Ryan Thomas going to play? Who are the other candidates? Götze, I think you mentioned.
Yeah,
we have maybe play.
In ideal circumstances, we would play with Götze and Gakpo. But as I was mentioning, they are both coming back from an injury. So then we have Iataren, who is a big talent, 18 years old, already called up for the national squad. So I think he's going to play, and then that would leave one spot open. And I think Mauro Junior, Brazilian player, would be the candidate to do that. But Ryan Thomas is one of the options as well. But we are all hoping that Gakpo or Götze or even both, we are hoping that they can play, because they really add something to the PSV game. Yeah.
Yeah, so I honestly think it's going to be really interesting, just because it sounds like both teams are kind of, like, from an Olympiacos perspective, we're throwing 33-year-old Socrates Papastathopoulos, who's been playing for the U23s of Arsenal for like 6 months now, out there for the first full game he's played all season. We're throwing Kenny Lala out there, who's played one game and it wasn't the most inspiring. And then on the other side, we have 22-year-old Moldovan international Oleg Rebchuk, who's played really good since he came in on the first day of the transfer window. But again, first player. And we have Usain Uba, who he's been a great defender for us, I'd say, but sent off this weekend in only 30 minutes against Panathinaikos. He left some defending to be desired at points, and I don't know how it's going to work exactly. So I'm a bit worried. Again, also, we have no fans at Karaiskaki, which is, for a game like this, it would have been a hot environment, we could say.
Yeah.
Could say that. And so it's going to be interesting. And we touched upon it a little bit earlier, but again, too, there was heavy snowfall in Athens today. I don't know if you guys saw, some of the pictures were unbelievable on the southern shores of Glyfada, Vouliameni, which is the southern suburbs of Athens, which are the beautiful beach resorts covered in snow, something I haven't seen in, I want to say, over 10 years. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything's ready and going well by then.
Do you think it'll be ready, the pitch, and are we going to see an orange ball and all those stuff, or will it be okay?
There might be an orange ball, but the pitch has undersoil heating, so it's a state-of-the-art pitch and a state-of-the-art stadium. There's no problem. It should be fine for Thursday. There was 10 centimeters of snow on the pitch today. I was listening earlier to the radio, so there's probably a hell of a lot of work to do for the people working on the ground, but there shouldn't be a problem. I would imagine that the teams get to train on the pitch tomorrow. I heard today that half of our training session was in the gym, and then the other half was outside on the training field. But for the game itself, it should be fine. We have the luxury, I should say, compared to other clubs in Greece, of having our own stadium, and there's been a lot of investment in it and in making it top notch. So that's not going to be a problem. I had a question, Labro, and it's more a general one. What was the reaction of PSV fans when you actually saw the draw? Like, what what would you say was what was your reaction, or do you think your reaction is representative of
Probably.
PSV fans in general?
I think it could have been far worse for us, but I think the main reaction was, okay, this is a team that we can beat. If you compare the two teams and the players that they both have and the investments that they made. So the first reaction was we can beat them, and then we started looking at the table in Greece and that you're so far up front, and we thought, oh, this is going to be really difficult for us because we are a starting project. We don't have a lot of experience. We have a trainer who just stepped in, who is trying to do something, and you have a really experienced team who works. The team works together well, so that's going to be really difficult for us. So, and the last results weren't that positive for us. We lost against Ajax last weekend. We got a draw in the last minute against ADO Den Haag, who we would normally beat easily. So now the match is coming forward. We are not that positive anymore. So it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I was telling Costa just personally between us before the episode, it's almost flipped the switch, because in December when we drew PSV, we were like, oh God. We thought we were in trouble because we had two 36-year-old fullbacks. Obviously, as you just heard, they're no longer here, or Jose Holebas is here, but he's in no way going to play on Thursday. Rafinha is long gone. So this changes were made to Olympiacos because the fans were disappointed after the Champions League campaign, and rightfully so. And it's as the tie has gotten closer, we've seen what's going on in the Netherlands. We've heard reports, and there's kind of this idea, okay, we can really do this. We can go on to the next stage. And this is what kind of I wanted to ask. I mentioned it a bit off camera, but there's this growing sense in Dutch media, at least, with Ibrahim Afellay, who's now almost like a pundit. He's almost like English-style ex-players become a pundit. I saw him on TV there. And then Rafael van der Vaart, who, of course, I think has been a pundit for a few years now, was an excellent Dutch player, had an international career, was excellent, kind of questioning the project. And so I guess my question is, it seems like there's mounting pressure here. And if this PSV team goes out now in the Europa League against Olympiacos, is it over for the coach? So is this almost a scenario where he sees, I need to win this tie, or this may be the job? I don't know if it's...
I think it's really, really important. And as you were mentioning, Afellay and Van der Vaart, they were criticizing it. You should know that Dutch media, their preference is a Dutch manager at every club. So when a foreign coach comes on, he gets a lot of criticism when he doesn't perform well. So that's always like that. And Afellay was a player for us last season, but he didn't play at all. He got a lot of injuries, and Roger Smith's style of playing with high intensity, that meant that Afellay couldn't keep up anymore, and he was sent away, and he didn't get a new club, so he decided to retire, and now he is criticizing our project. So I agree with what he's saying, but his point of perspective is that's a bit strange. But you were asking if this is decisive for Roger Smith and his project. I think the most important thing for PSV is to finish at least second in the Dutch table, so they can probably play qualifications for the Champions League next season. And that's the most important thing to raise money. But for sure, it's almost the main thing now to go through in the Europa League is almost the only thing we are playing for now, because we got knocked out in the cup. We are at second place in the Eredivisie. We have to keep that place. That's the most important. And then the Europa League. So yeah, I think the pressure is really high for Logersmeet now, but I don't think it's decisive if we lose against you. Yeah.
Okay, so it's not Greek style yet. If you're out of the cup and you lose Europe, you're gone. There's
no, I think
in
the
Greece
tension is high, but I know the tension in Greece is incredible. So
yeah,
you can compare that.
Yeah, for sure. And I kind of wanted to ask, so what is the criticism of these ex-players in the Podence in the Netherlands? So it's the system. Is this 4-2-2 almost just seen as a not acceptable brand of football? I guess we're a bit confused by it.
You know, they like the 4-3-3 system. That's our trademark in the Netherlands. And when you add something different, they see they see things they don't like. So the 6-6, Rogersmeet always plays with 2 defensive midfielders. The criticism is that he lacks creativity in the midfield. So, but if you watch the game against ADO Den Haag, that ended in a draw, 2-2. They created around 30 chances. So yeah, it just didn't go in, and that's something that can happen in a match. And the other thing they are criticizing is that Rogersmeet is a manager who sometimes speaks out his mind directly. So he says things, and then after a couple of days, he thinks, "Oh, I shouldn't have said that." So about the referee and about Ajax having more money, and yeah, sometimes it's not so smart, but I think he should stick to the football and to his project, and don't seek excuses for playing bad or getting bad results, but just keep improving, and then it'll be all right for PSV.
You sound more optimistic than pessimistic, I would say, but
yeah, but I'm a PSV fan, so I have to be. Yeah.
Oh no, you do not have to be. As an Olympiacos fan, I'm ready to kill the coach sometimes if things go wrong. Especially Pedro Martins has been here 3 years. We have been so lucky. That is a lifetime in Greek football. And before that, it was 3 months new coach, 6 months new coach, year new coach. So I don't know. So this has been a very nice experience with Pedro Martins being here, and we can criticize him sometimes, but the football has been good. We've been beating our rivals, and we played decent in Europe. So,
do you see the aggressive Portuguese style with him?
I would say it's in Europe. I think we play pretty compact with when we can play with that 4-3-3, and last season I want to say there was. With that 4-3-3, it was almost like you have Matthew Valbuena who can create the chance, and then you have Youssef El Arabi who can score the chance. So Valbuena had an injury problem that kept him out of a lot of European games, and El Arabi couldn't find really great form in Europe. I think you could say the first half of the season. First half of the season was just Olympiacos was getting results, but the football was really poor. And we discussed this quite a lot, and we think there was no preseason. We had a disaster of a situation with the cup final having to be played in August because of COVID / the Football Federation in Greece being incompetent.
That was much more to do with the Football Federation being a bunch of idiots.
I'm trying to give them a kind of handout, but we'll just say COVID situation. So the second half of the season, Costa can say, I think the excitement for this game has been Olympiacos beat PAOK 3-0 Olympiacos has been playing good football up until against Sunday against Panathinaikos, where we lost 2-1. It has been looking good so far, and even with the Panathinaikos result, I think most Olympiacos fans have come to the realization that all of our eyes are on Thursday night. Everyone is this would be an atmosphere. It would be a lot of fun to be at this game, because I think the buildup has been massive and people are really, really excited because, again, I feel like sometimes these tidbits get into Greek media. The Van der Vaarts, Afellay, of course, played for us, so that got into our media. So it's almost like the blood is in the water and the fans are kind of smelling a chance here. So overall, I think it's really interesting. I don't know. I'm super excited, as you can probably tell. So yeah.
I'm a little bit calmer than Labro is.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be an exciting game, given the situations on both sides. We have, like I said, a lot of changes in defense. We're playing against a very attacking team, but against a team that leaves a lot of gaps in behind. So I'm foreseeing a high scoring game on in both ties, to be honest. Our coach, I don't want to say he's the conservative Portuguese type. He's adaptable. If you watched us play last year, we like to play the same game no matter who we play against. If you watched us play against Bayern Munich last season at home, that was the game that they suffered the most all season last season away from home. I can tell you that without any shadow of a doubt. You know, they were killing teams towards the end of the Champions League, going away and beating teams 4-5-0. I can't even remember the scorelines, but it was a fact that the hardest game that they had away from home in the Champions League last season was against us. And we were really pressing them to equalize and make it 3-3. So all that I want to say is that this team this year is quite different from last year's team. We lost our fullbacks at the beginning of the season. Kostas Jimikaz, who Labro mentioned earlier, he went to Liverpool. Omar El Abdellaoui went to Galatasaray on a big money contract. And then we signed two 36, 37-year-olds to play fullbacks. And it really changed the style of our game. And we had to adapt the way we play. And it really wasn't very attractive to watch the first few months of the season. Until the January transfer window, we signed two attacking fullbacks. And the left back that we signed looks very, very good. 23 years of age, young Moldovan, raised in Portugal, Porto Academy, looks very, very good. Has some problems with positioning in the box, but in transition attack and transition defense, he's fantastic. And on the right, we're still waiting to see. But now the team starts to play more like we did last year. We start to stretch the field more and create overlaps and situations where the opposing wing back has to play against three players. So it's Martins is an adaptable Portuguese coach, and he's done a great job at Olympiacos. He came 3 seasons ago where we literally told 15 players to leave, and then we signed 15 players to replace them, and we told him build a team, and he got us through. I can't remember how many rounds of qualification. We finished 3rd that season, or 4th. I can't even remember the season before he took over. But yeah, like Labro said, in Greek football, being a coach more than a year, let alone a club like Olympiacos for 3 years, is very, very rare. Very rare.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, like a lot of players we've spoken to and a lot of ex-coaches, I think Ernesto Valverde said this, like the pressure at Olympiacos is so immense that going on in your career it's just that mentality sticks with you sometimes, and it's almost sink or swim. You get thrown in this deep end and you're expected to win every single game. Even a draw is unacceptable against most teams, even against rivals. So it's really a lot of people can say, oh, the Greek league is not so good, which maybe is fair. At times it's been poor, but the mentality at Olympiacos and what can happen to players, you saw it with Rafinha, who came in. He did a job, but you've seen it with other players who came in. We signed this midfielder from Portugal named Pepe, came in and just sunk, as we would say. The mentality wasn't there, and there's not even fans in the stadium. Another part is the fans in the stadium. In Greece, I don't know what it's like at PSV, but like a missed dribble, a missed kick, and you're getting whistled for most of the game, especially if you're a Greek player. I don't know if you guys get on your Dutch players more than the foreign players, but in Greece, if a Greek player screws up, you're in trouble. You're in trouble, yeah, because and you get whistled and you get booed, and you understand what the fans are saying. The other guys have no idea. Oh, they're saying ole ole, so you're living in happy land. Meanwhile, the Greek guy's like, oh my god, the world.
It's the opposite for them. It's the opposite for them.
It's the opposite for you guys. Wow.
Yeah, we support our talents and our Dutch players. Yeah, when somebody from another country comes on, we're waiting to see what we can expect. But when a young Dutch player plays, we are always excited and normally they perform well, and that's I think one of the reasons our youth academies are so successful, because we give our young players a chance, and that's what we see at PSV now. Like 10 or 20 years ago, they bought a bunch of players, and that was it. And now, young players are getting a chance, and like for example, Iataren or Gakpo. Malen played in our youth academy coming from Arsenal. That's a thing we like to see at PSV.
Speaking of foreign players, you had a Greek player that played for you last season. How did he do? What did you think of
Kostas? I left my beard because of him now. no. Kostas Mitroglou. He was a loaning from Marseille, and our first impression was, whoa, he is a genius, because he the same day he signed for PSV, he played his first minutes, and his first touches were incredible. He played like a Greek god. We love to see him play. But after that, we saw he was not that fast anymore. He didn't score a lot of goals, so we were a bit disappointed at the end of the season. He got onto our squad because we had a lot of injuries, and it was like a replacement, but not the level that we expected. So bit of disappointment when you mention the name Kostas Mitroglou, but he is like a cult figure, I would say, with his long beard, and his first minutes were incredible. That's what we like to remember from him.
And of course, he's a club legend for us. He's now back in Greece playing for Aris. He's had a really rough go of it with Marseille. They kind of Socrates Papastathopoulos style just said, like, you're not playing and we're not giving you a transfer, and threw him to the dogs almost. So it was
much worse. It was much worse.
Yeah, he's had a terrible experience of it, and so he's kind of playing a bit more, and I just don't think he's been fit as well. Just looking at him, we saw him. He came to Piraeus to play, and just didn't look how we remember him. I kind of wanted to say, which is really sad. I'm really hoping he can get back into shape, but at this point, who knows if that can happen.
He was never the fastest, though. Never. Yeah, even when he was at his peak, it was just, he's just a killer. You know, when he gets the ball in the box, as soon as he doesn't even look at the goal, he just shoots and it's a goal. 9 times out of 10, he would score. And for me, I think I've said before that if he had the work ethic and a bit more, how to say, I don't want to say football IQ, or I don't want to be mean and say that he doesn't have a brain.
Like mentality, almost.
Yeah, it's just like there was something missing with him. It's like he had the ability for me to be a top 10 striker in Europe, but I think he didn't have the work ethic, or it was too late until he realized that I could have trained that little bit more, or, my eating habits. If I didn't go out eating cheese pie at 1:00 in the morning in Livadia, we've heard stories, of him like going out to get food the day before a match at like 1:00 in the morning and things like that. But it's a shame. But he's also a striker that, playing as a front man on his own, he was never, even the season that he scored 30 goals or whatever for us, it was with another striker. It was with someone short. So it was like a little large 4-4-2. With us, it was with Javier Saviola, who was playing up front with him. That was the season that he broke out and scored a hat-trick in the Champions League, and we sold him eventually to the Premier League with a injury, with a knee injury. We sold him for 18 million. But yeah, okay, we love him very much, as you can tell.
Yeah, for sure.
Last season we were playing 4-3-3, so he was like the central attacker, and that's not where his qualities lie, I think.
No.
He had Malen for the combination, but Malen got injured as well. And then he became our main target man. But yeah,
didn't work.
Yeah. I wonder what it would have been like if he had that role that Zahavi now has, and he seems to be flourishing at a later age as well. And I guess we should probably start wrapping up the episode. So I guess going into this, we could do predictions of the first game and overall how the tie is going to go. So, Yannick, you want to kind of give your guess of what the first tie is going to look like, and then I guess
I think
the whole
we
tie.
can be really happy that your fans are not allowed in the stadium. So that's a big advantage for us. I think we would be happy with a draw in Greece. Probably a small win, but a draw would do, and at least a goal. And then the match in Eindhoven is gonna decide it all, I think. I don't think we can see a clear winner on Thursday. I think the decisive match will be in Eindhoven, and then it's too bad that our fans can't be there. But I think we are able to go through, but we have to reach our normal level and not the level of last 2 or 3 matches. What about your thoughts?
Costa, you want to go first?
Sure, if you're inviting me.
Please go ahead.
I will say, I'm going to be bold this time and say 3-1 victory. That's my prediction. I don't know. I don't want to, I'm going to stick to 3-1.
I guess that takes me. I'm the most excited one, and I'm really fearing a 2-2, like almost the Dynamo Kiev we had 2 years ago. I don't know. I'm known for bringing out nostalgic references to old games, but I'm feeling like a 2-2 maybe on the cards, which is such a terrible result for us at home. But I have a gut feeling we may see something like that, given our. I have said over and over on this podcast, Jan Envia is such a good player, such an important player to Olympiacos. Him being out, I think, was one of the big reasons we lost with Panathinaikos on the weekend, and against PSV. I don't know with Buhal. Costa's not going to agree, but that's fine. But with Buhalakis, that mistake, he's got the mistake, and especially when he's pressed, I think it can get to problems. So I'm going to say 2-2 at home, but I kind of, let's keep it interesting, say 3-2 on the road. I don't know.
Let me try and justify myself, because probably a lot of people are going to be listening to this and thinking, oh, this guy's crazy. I'm expecting a big game from Kostas Fortounis tomorrow. I think it's time. I really think it's time that we get a big game out of him in Europe, playing in his natural position. I'm going to be pissed if he doesn't start tomorrow. As much as I respect and love Mathieu Valbuena, I think Fortounis owes a big game in Europe. And I don't know how much you know about him, Yannick. I expect or suspect not a lot, but...
Yeah, I've heard his name, but I think that's it, yeah.
He's a very talented player. He doesn't belong in Greece. Again, it's a mentality thing. A lot of big players that we've sold to big leagues, they've been asked questions about him, and they all say,
"What's his age?"
He's 28. He's 28, and yeah, I mean Daniel Podence, who went to Wolves, they asked him a question about Fortounis, and he said, like, Fortounis is one of the best players I've ever played with, but he doesn't have the mentality. Like, he just wants to stay in Greece.
Yeah,
Like,
he said he was lazy. Actually, he said
he
he's
was
the most lazy teammate he's ever had, or something. Which isn't great. But.
That's too bad. Yeah,
but I mean, he's very creative. It's going to be interesting. The sixes that you mentioned that you have on your team, are they big? Like
Sangaré especially, he is like a monster.
But are they fast?
Like average, but Sangaré is known for his extremely long legs. So every time he gets a foot between the ball and the player, so that's one of his qualities. Rosario, on the other hand, he can improve a lot of things. So yeah, that's interesting to see those two against each other. Yeah,
that's going to be interesting in midfield. And then I don't know. I think goal scorers. I'm going to go even deeper. Goal scorers: El Arabi, Fortounis, and Bruma. It's going to get one.
No, that hurts.
Oh God. I for some reason I can see Bruma hitting the post like 3 times, because it seems like he hits the post more than any player we've seen. I feel like he's hit the post how many times against PAOK? He hit the post
that
like 2 times.
That would be the Bruma we know. So yeah, I can see that.
Personally, I'm gonna say Fortounis will score, and kind of random. I don't know. Kenny Lala has been known as a free kick specialist, a penalty taker. Let's say Kenny Lala.
There's no way Fortounis is letting Lala take.
Okay, there's no way. Now that I think about that, yeah. Let's say Madi Kamara scores a goal. That's what I say. And
he's a good player. He's a very good player. If you haven't heard of him, he's not staying at the end of the season.
Yeah, he's
going for more than 20 million.
Yeah, and so yeah, that's my prediction, I guess. And with that, I guess, Yannick, thank you so much for coming on. Just give our fans a rundown where they can follow you, where they can follow more info about your podcast, and just where we can keep up with your work, I guess.
It's quite easy. They can follow PSV Podcast everywhere. So that's our name. And if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Yannick Eiling, my name in an ELING, on Twitter or Instagram or something you like. But the PSV Podcast, it's in Dutch. So if you're a Dutchie listening to this amazing podcast, you can listen that one. And yeah, it was great talking to you guys. I'm even more excited for the match now.
I just want to give a shout out to PSV fans as well, because in Greece, Ajax is better known than PSV, because Olympiacos has played Ajax many times in Europe, and Panathinaikos as well. They've had historic clashes in European competition. We both wear red and white. Ajax wears red and white too, but PSV is wearing red and white stripes.
Yeah.
So I just want to give a shout out to PSV fans as well. May the best team win, and looking forward to the games. Thanks for joining us, Yannick.
Thanks very much.
And thank you to the listeners. If you've made it this far, make sure to continue to interact with us on social media at Gate7 International, Gate7 INTL. Peter usually does this segment. I messed it up, but it's okay. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, even Reddit. So check us out, give us a like, give us a follow, and interact with us. We're always discovering new listeners and interacting with people. We love the interactions. And if you enjoy the podcast, or if you hate the podcast, leave a review on Apple Podcast Reviews, Spotify. I'm not sure where else you can do it. And as Peter always says, we will read the reviews live on the podcast. So feel free to leave those reviews. Thank you guys for listening. And Πάμε Olympiacos. Let's see what we can do on Thursday. See ya. Okay.